Cypherward in this bitch, 2007 and forever, you know what I'm saying? What? Debo Crazy, the nigga named Spooks, and that nigga Mr. C.
Talking and I'm gonna come and slap you. I see you running and I'm gonna fucking get you. Toe to toe, blow for blow, be a man now. You wanna talk the talk, now walk the fucking walk, punk. I'm out for blood and I'm coming straight for ya. It's hater season and I got my gas loaded. Your crown's my target and I'm about to blow a hole in it. Leave it crooked like the man that's claiming that he's wearing it.
Just like the Terminator, more like the governor. Disappeared like David Blaine, my mind insane. Been like this before the game started. Mowing down the competition cause I'm cold-hearted. Step to me, take your last breath, kid. Have your chain beating like the crystal meth did. I better take mine, quit to eat yours. Quit running around thinking you're hardcore. And she should've told you what you're in store for. Step to me and get smacked through the floorboards.
Motherfucker, I came back to the realm, heard a lot of doubting, a lot of shit talking, nothing but a lot of shouting. Fuck words, I'm swinging fists, gonna get ya off guard, fuck trying to disrespect ya. I'm Jason Voorhees without the machete. You ending up disappearing like Machiavelli. Y'all ain't ready, y'all ain't ready. Your mind will explode in the chunks like confetti. What? This is fight music. Ain't you like music? 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 Throw 'em up, throw 'em up, throw 'em up, boy. Throw 'em up, throw 'em up, throw 'em up, boy. Cypherward in this bitch, 2007 and forever, you know what I'm saying? What? Debo Crazy, the nigga named Spooks, and that nigga Mr. C.
Talking and I'm gonna come and slap you. I see you running and I'm gonna fucking get you. Toe to toe, blow for blow, be a man now. You wanna talk the talk, now walk the fucking walk, punk. I'm out for blood and I'm coming straight for ya. It's hater season and I got my gas loaded. Your crown's my target and I'm about to blow a hole in it. Leave it crooked like the man that's claiming that he's wearing it.
Just like the Terminator, more like the governor. Disappeared like David Blaine, my mind insane. Been like this before the game started. Mowing down the competition cause I'm cold-hearted. Step to me, take your last breath, kid. Have your chain beating like the crystal meth did. I better take mine, quit to eat yours. Quit running around thinking you're hardcore. And she should've told you what you're in store for. Step to me and get smacked through the floorboards.
Motherfucker, I came back to the realm, heard a lot of doubting, a lot of shit talking, nothing but a lot of shouting. Fuck words, I'm swinging fists, gonna get ya off guard, fuck trying to disrespect ya. I'm Jason Voorhees without the machete. You ending up disappearing like Machiavelli. Y'all ain't ready, y'all ain't ready. Your mind will explode in the chunks like confetti. What? This is fight music. Ain't you like music? 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 Throw 'em up, throw 'em up, throw 'em up, boy. Throw 'em up, throw 'em up, throw 'em up, boy.
The following program has been rated NC-17 by the RIAA Certification Board.
But why?
Because this movie has naughty language.
No persons under the age of 17 will be admitted without parent or legal guardian. And now, the feature presentation.
I'm sick of it, doing right, doing wrong. parents pissed off every time I write a song. Smoke crack is upsetting, what the fuck is that? It's something funny, made for you to laugh at.
You're destroying America with your rap.
You're so full of shit, I need to call hazmat. The only way I would ever apologize
I gotta go on
if I
record
had
with
my
All
face
right?
buried
I
in your
really
sister's
do.
thighs.
Never in 39 years have I ever seen anything like
Okay, I'm sorry
It
for what
shows
it's worth,
the
but the best
fanaticism
part of you was the
of this
afterbirth.
fan base.
If you can't take a fucking joke, then go jump in the river. Na 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 na, and I fucked your sister. If you can't take a fucking joke, then go jump in the river. La 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 la, and I fucked your sister.
If you want to continue to put this narrative out there that Cody's finishing the story,
What the fuck, dude?
is this big daunting task, and Cody has all these mountains to climb and all these brass rings to climb.
And of course, we gotta thank our official music sponsor, Psych Ward, for the continued
I'll be
use
over by
of
10 with my dick on the mouth and my balls on the chin. She's bobbing her head to this fucking beat. Damn, dog, man, your sister's a freak. Hey, baby, you like the Eagles? Want to hear something?
Oh, here it is, ladies and gentlemen. After a very explosive end to Friday Night SmackDown, whew, Jacob Fatu, man, that is going to be somebody to watch in years to come. What a dominant performance here to end SmackDown here this week. Welcome back into the Asylum, ladies and gentlemen. We are just 20, well, not even 24 hours away. I mean, more like 20, maybe even less than that, hours away from the Royal Rumble. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in to the special Royal Rumble countdown event. Here we are live for the first time in God knows how long. If the camera's a little jumpy, I'm sorry about that. We're working on getting that fixed. We noticed it before we went live here tonight. But, you know, we wanted to get this special out there. We wanted to get this done. We wanted to show the world that we are, in fact, ready for the Royal Rumble here tomorrow night. Just checking out the live feed here. Give me uno momento.
But, you know, we wanted to get this special out there.
Actually, it looks pretty good. All right, let's keep going. All right. So, I wanted to wait until after SmackDown went off the air to do this special because obviously tomorrow night is the Royal Rumble. Official start time, 6 p.m. in the United States on Peacock and, of course, on Netflix across the world. And again, I wanted to wait until SmackDown went off the air as this was the go-home show for the Rumble, and wanted to make sure that we weren't going to miss anything. But the title of the show here tonight, Ready to Rumble, has two meanings. And here's what we mean by that. But in order to get to that, let's talk about some coming attractions. All right, so Money's Crazy Mind has entered into a deal with the streaming platform Rumble. It took a little bit for us to get that deal in place, but that deal is now in place, and we are rocking on Rumble. For right now, Rumble is going to be a pre-recorded broadcast only. So this broadcast, we're going to go ahead and save it, and then we're going to upload it to Rumble after this goes off the air. So everybody on Rumble will be able to watch it tomorrow. But all future broadcasts of Money's Crazy Mind will be simulcast on Facebook, YouTube, and Rumble. And then in the near future, after some discussion here with the guys at Nameless Faceless Productions and things like that, we're going to decide if we're going to drop live on YouTube or live on Facebook and go live on Rumble and one of those other platforms. So stay tuned for news coming up on that. But we like Rumble because Rumble is all about free speech, all about free internet for everybody. They're not going to sit there and say, you can't say that. That goes against our community terms of service, unless it's something that is like highly, highly illegal. So that's why we are pushing Rumble. That's why we are moving over to Rumble. And the first show that we shared to Rumble is actually doing pretty good for a brand new show on Rumble's platform. I'm very happy with the turnaround from Rumble. So stay tuned for more on that. And then, of course, we're going to be pre-recording this and sending it over to our friends at KZ Radio, the next evolution of radio. So stay tuned for when this broadcast of Money's Crazy Mind, which will probably be sometime tomorrow before the Royal Rumble goes live, hint, 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 to give you guys a taste of what Money's Crazy Mind is over on KZ Radio as well. And then this is actually the wrong advertisement, but we're going to talk about it anyway. Earlier tonight, we did part 1 of our Artist Spotlight special for Limp Bizkit, talking about the early years of Limp Bizkit and playing a lot of great Limp Bizkit music. The feedback on that show has been nothing but positive, so thank you, everybody. So not next week, but the week after that, we will be doing Artist Spotlight Limp Bizkit Part 2. That'll be the later, the second half of Limp Bizkit. So from 2004 until today for Limp Bizkit on that special. And then I've been advertising the show, and some things are happening where my schedule is changing at work, but we're going to advertise it anyway, because I'm going to do everything in my power to make this show happen, because this is something that I've been asked to do by the bands. So on April 25th at 8 p.m. at the local in Strongsville, Crazy Mind and KZ Radio will be there, along with Money's Crazy Soundtrack, a Money's Crazy Mind live broadcast from the local before Four Loko and Bad Juju take the stage that night. That's right. You're going to get Four Loko, then they're going to leave the stage, and then they're going to bring Bad Juju on. And then once Bad Juju's done, Four Loko is going to come back on the stage. And then once Four Loko's done a second time, Bad Juju's going to come back on the stage. And we're going to try to see if we can live stream the entire concert. I'm working out some deals with Bad Juju to make that happen. But with that, it is now time. That was our coming attractions. That's all we got to talk about for coming attractions for right now. Let's get into the main event. Let's shake off some ring rust and talk Royal Rumble. So, tomorrow night is the big show. The road to WrestleMania has officially kicked off, and it is on. Tomorrow night, Lucas Oil Stadium, the first time in WWE history where a Royal Rumble is going to be coming at you live from an active football stadium. And I know that the Indianapolis Colts and Pat McAfee, who is from Indianapolis, are super stoked to have the Royal Rumble in Indy. I'm moving the microphone a little bit because I don't like that it keeps going in and out of the frame. It's driving me fucking bonkers. But yeah, SmackDown just went off the air. The main event has nothing to do, except for the fact that LA Knight was in the main event, to do with anything happening with the Royal Rumble. But let's talk about some of the things that happen on SmackDown that are going to directly impact tomorrow night's pay-per-view. We open up the show with Kevin Owens being interviewed by Joe Tessitore, and Joe is saying that, all the press and everything about the Rumble and Kevin's match against Cody Rhodes has been leaning towards Cody Rhodes, and Joe Tessitore felt very bad about that. So he wanted to give Kevin Owens his time to talk about all the things that Kevin Owens talks about. So what does Kevin Owens do with that time? Well, he kind of flushed it down the shitter because he didn't really have anything to say. He pretty much just said, I'm not going to accept your apology on this and that there's been biased broadcasting. It's Cody this, Cody that. And I'm kind of wondering why Nick Aldis didn't say anything about this other than the fact that he had The Miz to deal with for most of the night here on SmackDown. But part of the contract that both Kevin and Cody signed on Saturday night's main event stated that not only was Cody's undisputed WWE Heavyweight Championship title supposed to be hanging from the ring until the match at the Royal Rumble, but so was the Winged Eagle belt that Kevin Owens has been walking around with ever since the first Saturday night's main event happened last month. This is not an official title. It was just a throwback thing that Triple H was doing to kind of make that first return episode of Saturday night's main event seem that much more special. So the fact that Kevin Owens is walking around with this thing, calling himself the real undisputed WWE champion, it just kind of shows you how delusional Kevin Owens actually is at this moment. But Kevin Owens has been bringing up a lot of good points. That ever since Cody Rhodes came back, it's been the Cody Rhodes show. But yet when things got tough and things weren't going Cody Rhodes' way, Cody Rhodes booked it. He booked it to Japan. And then he helped start AEW. Meanwhile, Kevin Owens is staying behind in the WWE, trying to keep the WWE afloat and keep the WWE relevant when it comes to the world of sports entertainment and professional wrestling. So Kevin Owens actually does bring up a very good point when it comes to that. But the fact of the matter is that Cody Rhodes is the undisputed WWE World Heavyweight champion, I should say. He won that right after he won the Royal Rumble last year, and then went on to WrestleMania and defeated the then champion, the one true tribal chief, Roman Reigns. But so Kevin's out here and he's looking at Joe Tessitore, and they have lowered the belts down. And Kevin says, you know what? I'm taking this with me. And he takes the Winged Eagle title back. At that moment, he starts to walk out of the ring, and then CM Punk comes out. And CM Punk basically does the same thing that Joe Tessitore does and apologizes to Kevin for the fact that he came out on Monday Night Raw and said when Cody Rhodes wins the match, that it would be CM Punk versus Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania. And he says, so, here's what I'm going to say to you, Kevin. I know you don't like me. I know that there's 29 other people in the Royal Rumble that you like more than me, and that's 100% fine. And we don't even know all 29 other participants other than CM Punk. We only have 15 confirmed entrants in the Royal Rumble match, and we'll get to that here in just a moment. I want to just catch everybody up as to what's happened on Raw and SmackDown. So obviously we know CM Punk came out and challenged Cody Rhodes on Monday Night Raw, saying if he won the Royal Rumble, that he would challenge Cody Rhodes because Cody is a friend. And Punk knows the schedule, the hurt, the pain, the lack of sleep, the appearances, everything that Cody has been going through since winning that belt at WrestleMania last year. That's what drove Punk to quit 10 years ago. And I'm glad to hear that Punk is just finally admitting that he wasn't ready to be a champion back then. He may have been ready skill-wise, because CM Punk is still, to this day, one of the best in the world. There's no denying that. But the schedule, the appearances, the rigors, all of these things that the champion is expected to do is enough to drive a normal man crazy. And I think being the champion was just that much too big for CM Punk back in the day. And now he's trying to warn Cody of this. And Cody looked just absolutely disheveled and exhausted when this showdown between Punk and Cody happened. Excuse me, on the end of Raw. So now you have Punk sitting there saying, okay, if you can survive Cody Rhodes in that ladder match. Kevin Owens, I challenge you at WrestleMania. Also on Raw, you had Seth Rollins kind of call out Gunther and told Gunther, look, I want my championship back. Gunther comes out, it turns into a big squabble, and then of all jokers to come out, Logan Paul, and he's just like, well, look, what if I win? And Gunther's kind of just like, okay. If you win the Royal Rumble, I'll break your ass in half. How about that? Now, CM Punk has never headlined WrestleMania. I didn't think that was possible since Punk was the champion, but it turns out it's the truth. So if CM Punk does do what he was supposed to do last year and win the Royal Rumble and go on to main event WrestleMania, this will be the first time in history that CM Punk has headlined a WrestleMania. Charlotte Flair is officially back, and she is going to be part of the Women's Royal Rumble. They did a little video package for her. It was really cool to see that video package and to see that Charlotte is finally on her way back. DIY and Pretty Deadly take on the Motor City Machine Guns and Los Garza ahead of the 2 out of 3 falls match at the Rumble. Los Garza abandons the Motor City Machine Guns, leaving them to the dogs of Pretty Deadly and DIY. Obviously, the Guns actually end up getting the win over DIY because Pretty Deadly ended up getting a boot in the face by Tommaso Ciampa. Ciampa gets pinned by the Motor City Machine Guns. After the match, heading into the main event, you have Jacob Fatu and Tungaloa heading towards the ring to get ready for their match in the main event against Damian Priest and LA Knight. They see, well, Tonga sees the tag belts sitting on top of one of the production cases, and then all of a sudden DIY comes out of nowhere, grabs them. These are ours. What, you think you can just take these from us? So we might be seeing a return of the other half of that tag team, and they may be going up against DIY in the future for the WWE Tag Team Championships. But then Pretty Deadly confronts DIY about what happened at the end of that match, and they basically said, you guys are on your own tomorrow against the Machine Guns in the 2 out of 3 falls match. 2 participants in the Women's Royal Rumble match then had a one-on-one match as well. Naomi and Liv Morgan take on each other ahead of the Rumble match. Bianca Belair in Naomi's corner, Raquel Rodriguez in Liv's corner. Liv Morgan got the win over Naomi. Is this a sign of what a lot of people are speculating, that there may be some heat between Bianca Belair and Naomi, with Bianca thinking that Naomi might be the one responsible for what happened to Jade Cargill? So then, the last thing that happened on SmackDown that had any bearing towards any of the matches tomorrow night, ahead of the Women's Royal Rumble, Candice LeRae confronts Tiffany Stratton and tells her that she has made an enemy not only of Pretty Poison, but obviously of Nia Jax. And then Nia Jax comes out of nowhere and just smashes Tiffany Stratton into the turnbuckle, making her a target if Jax were to win the Royal Rumble. So that's it for the updates ahead of what happened at the Rumble, everything that happened on SmackDown. Not much was really going on Raw as it goes to the Rumble match, except for some of the participants in the Rumble match having matches against each other and things like that. As of right now, and I'm not understanding this, but there are only 4 matches listed for tomorrow night's Royal Rumble event. You have the undisputed WWE Championship ladder match, Cody Rhodes versus Kevin Owens, the men's Royal Rumble match, and we will mention all of the participants in that match in just a few moments, the women's Royal Rumble match, and the WWE Tag Team Championship 2 out of 3 falls match with DIY versus the Motor City Machine Guns. So let's talk about the first match that we have here, and that is that 2 out of 3 falls match for the WWE Tag Team Championships. I think we're going to see the Motor City Machine Guns get the best out of DIY, especially after what we saw today. The misstep by Tommaso Ciampa that cost them that 8-man tag. And you now have made enemies out of Pretty Deadly. So now you have to factor in the fact that Pretty Deadly could want to get revenge on DIY at some point during that match. Not only that, but I think Los Garza is now realizing that they were innocent victims of this fight between the Machine Guns and DIY. And you may even have Los Garza come out and potentially help the Guns as well, considering the fact that the Guns are also innocent victims in this whole thing with the way that DIY went about winning those tag team championships against the Motor City Machine Guns a couple weeks ago. So I do think that the Guns are going to get the better and regain the gold after DIY starts falling apart, costing them the first fall. So I think a miscommunication between Ciampa and Gargano is going to cost them the first fall. And then you have maybe they rally back, get the second fall. So now it's 1 fall apiece. Next fall is going to win the match. And that's when Pretty Deadly or maybe even Los Garza is going to come out. Maybe all 4 of them come out. I mean, this could be, I don't think that this is going to be a clean win match. As much as I would love for it to be a clean win match, since the titles are on the line, I just think that one of these 2 other tag teams or both of these 2 other tag teams that have kind of been drug into this personal grunge against DIY and the Motor City Machine Guns is going to cost DIY that second fall, and the Machine Guns are going to win the tag team championships again. And then the next match that we have that is not a Royal Rumble match, the WWE Championship ladder match. So Owens is just continuing this personal attack on Cody Rhodes, talking about how he not only betrayed him, but he betrayed the WWE when he left and went to Japan and was doing the things with New Japan and then obviously helped start AEW. Regardless of how Cody Rhodes handled himself in the ring in that company, there is no doubt that the entire group like that, you had Cody Rhodes, you had Kenny Omega, you had the Young Bucks, you had all of those people involved in the start of AEW, along with another former WWE star, Chris Jericho. So I see where Kevin Owens is coming from with this. Do I think they're going to take the belt off of Cody Rhodes? No, I don't. Why? Because there are 2 or 3 different scenarios that you're going to have going into your main event at WrestleMania. We already know that The Rock has already said that he owes Cody Rhodes a receipt. And that receipt was actually reminded to everybody on the very first Raw on Netflix. The Rock came out and he said, "We're not done yet." And I think a lot of people have forgotten about that, especially after the CM Punk showdown on Monday Night Raw. But I do think that Cody wins the match, takes down both titles, because that is the stipulation in the match, is that the winner gets both belts. Owens continues to attack him after the match, and then if the Royal Rumble match has not happened yet, Cody Rhodes enters the men's Royal Rumble match to try to be able to get that rematch against Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania. If the Royal Rumble match has already happened, then I think Cody Rhodes is going to be Kevin Owens is going to be one of the first people to declare himself for the Elimination Chamber in March. And this could go a couple of different ways. We obviously know that CM Punk is owed something by the wise man Paul Heyman as well. if the men's Royal Rumble match happens before the ladder match, I see it possible that Punk could go up to the wise man and say, it's time to cash in my favor. And maybe he has the tribal chief interfere in that match. Or maybe the final boss. Who knows? But then you also have to think, if the men's Rumble match doesn't happen before that, nobody has anything to gain from interfering in that match. So that match could go clean. But those are the couple of scenarios that I think going into that. But I do think that Cody Rhodes walks out with both the Winged Eagle and his undisputed championship. So now let's move on to the men's Royal Rumble match. There are 15 competitors that have been officially announced by the WWE. And those are in no particular order whatsoever. So just think about that. Rey Mysterio, John Cena, Drew McIntyre, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, CM Punk, Sami Zayn, Shinsuke Nakamura, Jey Uso, Logan Paul, Chad Gable, Braun Breaker, Penta, LA Knight, and Carmelo Hayes. So out of the names that are listed here, you've got several champions in this match. You've got the United States champion, Shinsuke Nakamura. You've got the Intercontinental champion, Braun Breaker. You've got former champions in this match. You've got a lot of great talent in this match. And I think one of the special people that are going to make an impact in this match is the fact that you have the newest acquisition, not just by Monday Night Raw, but by the WWE, Mr. Cero Nieto himself, Penta, being in this match. I have been watching this man for the better part of 15 years. I first discovered Penta on Lucha Underground. I followed him to AAA and got to watch a couple AAA shows. I then followed him to AEW, where him and his brother Ray Phoenix were the Lucha Bros, and they made a hell of an impact. And now that he's in the WWE, a place where he has wanted to be, he is showing everybody just what Zero Fear is all about. Carmelo Hayes is also another one that is uber talented and can make a huge splash in this match. And then, of course, there's still 15 spots that need to be announced. And obviously, not every single one of my predictions of who I think might make an appearance in the match is going to show up. But these are just names that I think could show up because of A, NXT, and B, WWE's partnership with TNA. And after I go through all of this, I'm gonna tell you who I think is gonna win and what the next step is going to be for some of the other people in this match. I also like the inclusion of Sami Zayn, Jey Uso. Both of these guys have been in the world title picture as of late. Drew McIntyre obviously has been in the world title picture as of late. Roman Reigns has been in the world title picture as of late. You've got Intercontinental and US champions both in this match. They could definitely make a run for a world title at WrestleMania, somewhere that Shinsuke has been in the past. LA Knight is a former US champion. So there's a lot of dynamics in this match. And then, of course, you have the John Cena retirement tour that starts at the Royal Rumble. So I picture Cena being a late entrant into this match, and he may be one of the final people in the match. But John has said it himself. He isn't here to win titles. He's just here to entertain his fans one last time before saying goodbye. So I don't think John wants to be in a title picture. But if John does, or if the WWE decides to put John in that title picture, then obviously he is a front runner to win the Royal Rumble match as well. But obviously, we know that the Royal Rumble match is always a time for surprises. And I have some predictions of people that I think might make a surprise appearance in the men's Royal Rumble match. We're going to start with some of the names of WWE talent that we haven't seen in a while that I think might make a comeback. We're going to start with the man who's been out rehabbing an injury, Randy Orton. It might be time for Randy to come back. You have John Cena that's going to be in this match. It would be an excellent time to maybe give that rivalry that we all saw for so many years in the WWE one last run. And then, of course, like I said, we already know that The Rock has said that Cody Rhodes has a receipt coming to him from everything that happened last year. So the final boss himself might make an appearance in the Royal Rumble match. Mick Foley has been talking with Triple H quite a bit in the past recently and has lost over 100 pounds, and Mick is now in some of the best shape of his life. And we might see maybe one, maybe two, or maybe even all three of the faces of Foley. So, I mean, let's just think about it. You have Mankind come out. Mankind gets eliminated. A couple entrants down the road, all of a sudden you hear bang, bang, and here comes Cactus Jack. Cactus Jack gets eliminated, and then all of a sudden out comes the Dude Love. And then hell, just for the hell of it, let's just have Mick Foley come out as Mick Foley. So that there's a fourth face of Foley. I mean, how spectacular would that be? And then, of course, The Undertaker has been around on Raw the past couple of weeks after Rhea Ripley won the women's title from Liv Morgan. He congratulated her. He was there at Triple H's Hall of Fame announcement. So I mean, there's a lot of names of former WWE talent that could obviously come back and be a part of the men's Rumble match. That's just a couple of the names that I think are going to make an appearance. Now let's move on to NXT. Trick Williams comes to mind. Obafemi, the new NXT World Heavyweight Champion, comes to mind. Ethan Page comes to mind. Quite a few names down there in NXT that could definitely make an impact in the Royal Rumble and could potentially be a call-up. Now, obviously, Obafemi may not get called up right away since he is the current NXT champion, but you never know. And then let's talk about the names of people that are over in TNA that could potentially come over in part of this weird talent exchange and things like that the WWE has with Total Nonstop Action. Obviously, the one that everybody is thinking about, because when you say his name, he does appear. I believe in Joe Hendry, the current TNA World Heavyweight Champion, could definitely be a surprised entrant and has been a name that has been talked about quite a bit when it comes to the Royal Rumble match as being a surprised entrant. And then, of course, you got to think about some former WWE talent that is now in TNA. We're going to start with Matt Cardona, or as WWE fans may remember him, whoa, 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 you know it, Zack Ryder. And then, of course, another former WWE superstar that is now in TNA and is a former TNA champion, Mr. Nick Nemeth himself. That's right, the former male cheerleader from the Spirit Squad, Nikki, or as he was more popularly known as, Dolph Ziggler. Brian Myers, one of the fake Edges. Santino Marella, the Milan Miracle. Eric Young, who used to be a part of Sanity. Then, of course, you have current X Division champion Moose, Christian Cage. And then, of course, I know the one that everybody is thinking that might actually happen because they are both in TNA and are the current TNA Tag Team Champions, Team Extreme, the Hardy Boys. But are we going to get the Team Extreme Hardys, or are we going to get them under their current personas of Broken Matt Hardy and Brother Nero? Yes. So I'm really looking forward to this Royal Rumble match. I'm really looking forward to it. This is going to be a stacked card. And like I said, those are just predictions. Those are not confirmed people that are going to enter the Royal Rumble match. And those were just my picks based on what we know with WWE's partnership with TNA and obviously NXT. But I do think that this is going to be a match that is going to be talked about for a long time, especially since there are quite a few big names in the WWE that are not officially declared for the Royal Rumble match. Somebody like a Damian Priest, who is a former World Heavyweight Champion. Was tonight his way of saying, I'm going to be in the Royal Rumble? You have the Samoan Werewolf who's been killing everybody, Jacob Fatu. You've got some of the members of the Wyatt Six that could come out there, especially if the Miz is in the match, because we all know that the Wyatts have something going on with Miz right now. So there's a lot of variables that are going to go into this Royal Rumble match that obviously we are not going to know until that Rumble match actually gets started. My prediction to win this match, though, only because they have been putting so much hype behind it, and this is the one person that has been sitting there saying, now that I've got Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre in my rear view mirror, except for the fact that they are now both in the Royal Rumble match, my goal is to win championships. And I did not come back to WWE to make friends. I came back to WWE to make money. And that is a Paul Heyman guy, the voice of the voice. Hold on. The voice of the voiceless. Paul Heyman is the voice of the voice of the voiceless. But CM Punk is the voice of the voiceless. And I do think that the best in the world is going to win the Royal Rumble and go on to face either Cody Rhodes or Kevin Owens, because I am going to give Kevin Owens his props. Kevin Owens can beat Cody and will be a phenomenal champion if that's the way the WWE decides to go with it. My honorable mentions in this one are going to be John Cena, obviously, Seth Rollins, Penta, Braun Breaker, and Sami Zayn. These are all guys that are going to definitely go the distance. And if the WWE does want to put the championship back on Roman Reigns, I'm going to add him as a maybe as well. Because I hate to say it, but if we get the same WrestleMania main event that would be now the third year in a row when it comes to Roman and Cody, I think fans are going to sit there and be like, what the fuck are we doing? Are we seriously doing this now? We're out of the Vince McMahon era. This is the Triple H era. Like, let's not go backwards into the Vince McMahon era, and let's keep moving forward into the Triple H era, into the WWE Universe era, as Triple H likes to put it. But I am very, very, very excited for this Royal Rumble match. The men's Royal Rumble match is going to be huge. That guy Dub coming in here just a couple of seconds ago saying my ass is fired. That's all right, Dub. I'm just talking some Royal Rumble, my sirs. But yeah, so the Royal Rumble tomorrow night. This is not going to be a full 2-hour show. Basically, once we get through the Royal Rumble card, I'm out of here and we'll do a full 2-hour show next week. I just wanted to do this special because tomorrow is the Royal Rumble. And I took notes on everything. Like these are my, this is what happened on SmackDown notes. This is my men's Royal Rumble notes. I have women's Royal Rumble notes. I have notes for the other two matches that were listed on the card. So we are down to the last match, if this is going to be the last match. So I started thinking about this because Peacock has slated several hours for the Royal Rumble. That's a lot of time for the Royal Rumble. 2 hours of that is the pre-show that starts at 4 p.m. The Royal Rumble event itself starts at 6 p.m. So you've got 6 to 7, 7 to 8, 8 to 9, 9 to 10. So the Rumble could be 4 hours and end at 10 o'clock. Or it could go 5 hours and end at 11 o'clock. I don't even want to think about a 5-hour Royal Rumble with 4 fucking matches. Like, I really, really don't. So unless there's matches that they have not announced yet, I don't see this event going as long as it is. But you got to think about it. So it may only be 4 hours. So it may end at 10, and then the post show starts at 11. Because if you got 2 hours for the pre-show, that puts it at 6. The last hour would obviously be the post show that they have announced. So we'll see how that goes. I don't know how this is gonna go. We'll have to see how it goes tomorrow once the stream starts live on Peacock at 4 p.m. for the pre-show. Excuse me just one moment. I haven't been this excited for a Royal Rumble in a while. And I think that that's why I wanted to do this special. Is because I've been watching wrestling for a very long time. And for a while, I got out of it because the WWE just got boring. And AEW seems to be just a minor flash in the pan because their product has been progressively getting worse over the years. But I hope that that's not the case because I really did like AEW and I still watch them, just to kind of see if they are going to get better. But we'll have to see what happens with that. But this is the first time I've been excited for the Royal Rumble in a long time. I've watched every Royal Rumble, and last year's Royal Rumble did show some signs of life. Obviously, WrestleMania last year was epic. It was amazing. SummerSlam this past year was epic and amazing. Survivor Series this year was holy shit amazing. And WWE just seems to be on this high path right now. And I think that this pay-per-view or premium live event, whichever you want to call it, has the potential to keep WWE on the path that they're on right now, heading in to WrestleMania and making WrestleMania be the biggest match or the biggest show of all time. So with that said, I only wanted to go about an hour, so we got about 15 minutes left here. Announced there are only 10 women announced for the Women's Royal Rumble match, and that is former Women's Champion Liv Morgan, Naomi, former Women's Champion Bayley, former Women's Champion Bianca Belair, former Women's Champion Charlotte Flair, Evo Sky, Ivy Nile, the current Women's Intercontinental Champion Lyra Valkyria, and Raquel Rodriguez. So obviously, I got a lot of predictions that I can make for this one, and we're gonna do it kind of the same way that we just did. I think Lash Legend is gonna be a big possibility because we see that they're obviously doing a lot with her on SmackDown when it comes to the tag team champions. Pretty much any female talent on NXT can be a factor in this match because there's not a lot of women that are declared for this. But then you also have former WWE people and obviously people we haven't seen for a while. Becky Lynch, Trish Stratus, Lita, Maurice, Michelle McCool could potentially come out here. AJ Lee is another name that's been talked about very heavily. Jordan Grace just recently had her final match in TNA and has supposedly signed with WWE. Can we potentially see her make her official WWE debut in the Women's Royal Rumble match? And then just moving on to the TNA side of things, you got the current TNA Women's Champion Masha Slamovich, Spitfire, the Women's Tag Team Champions, Ash by Elegance, Gail Kim, who is also a former WWE talent that is currently with TNA, Rosemary, Tessa Blanchard. I know we mentioned Trish, Lita, Beth Phoenix, Maurice, Michelle McCool, and then of course you have Mickie James. There's so many people that can make an appearance in this match because this women's match is so thin. so thin that there are so many surprises that can happen in this match. Um, Nia Jax is in this match too. I don't know why she wasn't on the announced names that I just realized that I didn't. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oops, I forgot to add her to the list. But yes, Nia Jax is in the match as well. So, how do I think this match is going to end up going? There's a couple factors that we can have. Obviously, Nia Jax is pissed off that Tiffany Stratton beat her for the title. So, Nia Jax has been on a warpath. She took on Rhea Ripley at Saturday night's main event and lost. But then you also have Io Sky, who came that close to beating Liv Morgan when Liv Morgan was still the champion. You have Bayley, who wants her title back. Obviously, Liv Morgan's going to want her title back at some point, you would think, too, even though she keeps telling Judgment Day it's not that big of a deal because I've taken more away from Rhea Ripley than just her title. And if Rhea has her title back, then that's all she has. So there's a lot of components in this. And obviously, Naomi's a former women's champion. Bianca Belair is a former women's champion. Lyra Valkyria being the current Intercontinental champion, that can definitely be a factor in this. Like I said, there are just so many moving pieces with this that it's going to be very interesting to see how this Women's Royal Rumble match is going to go. And I'm very, very excited for this match. But who do I see winning? It's a toss-up. I'm 50-50 on who I think is going to win this match. And I'm coming down between Bayley and Charlotte Flair. Charlotte Flair, obviously just coming back from a massive injury that's kept her out of WWE for a while. Her husband is here in Andrade Cien Almas, El Idolo. And obviously Bayley won the Royal Rumble last year. She could definitely repeat on that and be one of the first women to ever repeat winning a Royal Rumble. And she is very, very determined to get back in the title picture. And she already has a target on her back, and she ain't even won shit yet with Io Sky, her former damage plan or damage control stablemate. And Io Sky made that very clear on Monday Night Raw. If you win the Rumble, you and I are going to rumble. Or you know, and I'm also telling her, don't think you're going to win the Rumble because I want to win the Rumble. And Io Sky is actually my honorable mention in this because I do think that Io Sky has the potential to go on a women's world championship run. Now, obviously, if Io or Charlotte or Bayley doesn't win the Rumble, there's always the Elimination Chamber. So who do I think are going to be some of my first to declare themselves for the Elimination Chamber in March? Liv Morgan, most definitely. Bayley or Charlotte Flair, if they don't win the Rumble, Io Sky, and maybe even Lyra Valkyria. And I definitely think that it's going to be Liv Morgan since she's going to want to get her hands on Rhea Ripley again, I think. And Nia Jax. You got to throw Nia Jax into that conversation too. So I mean, your women's Elimination Chamber is almost writing itself depending on how the Royal Rumble ends, because that's 5 people that I've mentioned that could join the Elimination Chamber. Liv Morgan, Bayley, Charlotte Flair, Io Sky, and Nia Jax. Hell, 6. Lyra Valkyria. Could that potentially be? Now, obviously, one of those names, I'm one or two of those names I'm picking to win the Royal Rumble. Either Bayley or Charlotte Flair. And if one of those two wins the Rumble, then obviously you could take that name out and then insert, wrestler here. Maybe you throw Jordan Grace in there. Who knows? Now, obviously, any of these people that they would bring over from TNA, I don't see them winning the Royal Rumble because why? They're just bodies to fill a spot in a 30-person match that they don't have 30 people for. And also, I think after what happened tonight on SmackDown, I think Candice LeRae may have declared that she is going to be in the Royal Rumble match as well, not only to try to win the match herself, but to also help Nia Jax, because it is very clear that Pretty Poison is still under Nia Jax's spell for whatever reason. And let's not let's not say that I don't think that Candice LeRae doesn't have what it takes to be a champion. I've followed Candice LeRae's career almost as long as I followed Johnny Gargano's, and go figure, they're fucking married. Candice LeRae can definitely hold her own, and she was also one of the trainers at Absolutely Intense Wrestling here in Cleveland, Ohio. So I definitely think that Candice could hold her own and could go on a championship run. It all just depends on if WWE wants to give her that opportunity or not. And Triple H, if you're watching this, congratulations on being the first person announced for the Hall of Fame for this year. But you also need to take a little bit of a deeper look at Candice LeRae. Johnny Gargano is no slouch on that either. So could Gargano possibly join the men's Royal Rumble match? That's a name I didn't mention. Johnny Gargano had a great singles career before coming to WWE. And even in NXT, he had a little bit of a singles career every time Tommaso Ciampa got hurt. So yeah, I mean, let's close this out here because we're getting very close to the top of the hour here. And like I said, I didn't plan on going longer than an hour. Because there's only 4 matches announced. So we'll see how close I am on any of these matches next Wednesday night on Money's Crazy Mind when we come at you right here on Facebook, YouTube, and Rumble at 6 p.m. That's right. Money's Crazy Mind has moved back to Wednesdays. And I think at least 2 of my predictions are going to be correct in the men's Royal Rumble and Cody Rhodes. I'm not 100% sure about the women's match or the tag match. I mean, it could go either way. DIY could actually pull this off. And if they do, great, because I'm a huge fan of Gargano and Ciampa. But I'm also a huge fan of the Machine Guns. So it'd be really cool to see either one of those guys win that 2 out of 3 falls match. So I'm giving myself a 2 out of 4 possibility of being correct. A 50-50 chance of being correct. But I'm also going to say that that's a 50-50 chance in either direction. I could be right about any of these 4 matches. And if there are more matches that get added, obviously we'll talk about those matches next week right here on Money's Crazy Mind. But as of right now, that is what has been officially announced for tomorrow night at the Royal Rumble. Again, start time 6 p.m. on Peacock here in the United States, and who knows whatever time you're in for whatever country you're in the rest of the world on Netflix. 2-hour pre-show starts at 4 p.m. And then, of course, there is a post-show that the WWE has mentioned is happening as well. I will be watching tomorrow very intently because I am stoked about this Rumble. And this is the official start of the road to WrestleMania. I'm also a Paul Heyman guy, so obviously you know I'm rooting for CM Punk tomorrow night to win the men's Royal Rumble. But let's get out of here, guys. It has been great to do this. I haven't done one of these in a long time. I have not done a countdown show in a long time. It felt great to get back in the saddle here to talk a little Royal Rumble, the start of the road to WrestleMania. So we'll see you Wednesday night immediately following, or I shouldn't say immediately following, shit. We're on from 6 to 8. And then Friday night on KZ Radio, 7 to 9 p.m., we'll be giving you a show that was supposed to air 2 weeks ago, but I became down with the sickness, as Disturbed would like to say, and wasn't able to do the show. So we're giving it to you this week, and then next week, obviously, the week after that, we'll be doing part 2 of Limp Bizkit Artist Spotlight. Until all those great events coming up here on KZ Productions and Nameless Faceless Productions, take care of yourself and each other. Good night.
Money's Crazy Mind is proud to be the exclusive flagship broadcast of Nameless Faceless Productions.
That's all, folks.